My name is Jessa McCauley, and I have worked at the Mesker Park Zoo for a little over 3.5 years. My primary focus is primates. That means apes, monkeys, and prosimians like the lemurs. The animals that you're going to be introduced to today are two of our DeBrazis monkeys. DeBrazis monkeys are native to Africa, and these two individuals are very special because they're both diabetic, insulin-dependent diabetics. When we started out, we did some different, just during their annual exams, we noticed some blood sugar levels were off, and just some additional testing, we learned that yes, they probably were diabetic. We started out trying to just use your traditional oral controllers like metformin and pioglitazone, but those weren't really working, so I wound up doing insulin. The type of insulin we use currently is called Lantus. It's a 24-hour insulin, and so that means they only have to get one shot a day. The insulin is stored in the refrigerator, so every day, the first thing I do when I come in is I feed the animals. They need to have eaten a good amount before I give them their full amount of insulin. So once I've made sure that they've eaten enough, then it's time to go ahead and drop the insulin. I roll it between my hands, and then I just am checking for sediment to make sure that the insulin isn't contaminated with anything. And then we use obviously a fresh needle every day. So I'm just going to draw up. Currently, both girls are getting the same amount, which is 5 units. We do monthly blood glucose tests on their tail, and that's how we evaluate if the amount is right. Your good blood glucose numbers should be between 100 and 200. Closer to the 100 value range is better. They're just like people. If they have too low of blood sugar, they can risk going into seizures. So that has unfortunately happened to us, but what we did, we took a corn syrup and we rubbed it on her gums, and that she absorbed that into her bloodstream, and everything was fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and call the girls over into what we call our squeeze cage. This is something that a lot of different zoos use for animal procedures. It allows you to be in close contact with the animal but there's still a safety barrier between you and the animal. Okay, so currently I put both girls into the squeeze cage at the same time just because the younger girl feels a little more comfortable having her mom around. So this is Wes over here. She is 13 years old, and this is her daughter, Najile, and Najile will be 10 in a couple months. So this is how the squeeze cage gets its name. I'm going to squeeze them down a little bit. In the beginning stages of these injections, we did actually have to squeeze them down to the point where they were held immobile, but now with them being used to it more, I just squeeze it down enough so I can reach them. So both monkeys get a little treat for coming into the squeeze cage. In this case, they're getting some cereal. And then through just working with them every day, I've learned that they have individual preferences. Wes prefers to have her insulin injection in her thigh. And all I'm doing is pulling her skin up, and then I just, because this is a subcutaneous injection under the skin, so I just pull the skin up and stick it into that space that I create. And then she gets a treat, of course, for getting her shot. And then Najile has told me that she prefers to have hers in her bicep. And that's really all it is. And that just allows them to lead a much healthier lifestyle. And they are done. The other thing I use this squeeze cage for is their monthly weights. So I've gotten Sasha used to, after the girls get their treats, he comes over. Come, Daddy. We'll let him get away with it today because he's a little camera shy. So now it's another training opportunity. I get all 3 of them to go in there for weights. The squeeze cage does stay in here That's just to help them, stay acclimated to it because it's, it's kind of a big, loud, noisy metal thing. But yeah, this is, untreated diabetes can lead to blindness and all kinds of other issues. So this is just helping them lead a longer life. And I mean, these little pokes, once a day, they get their blood glucose done once a month, really doesn't interrupt their daily routine. So I feel like they still have a pretty high quality of life.